So I'm really glad to be here, because I'll be honest with you, for me, this is my dream. When I get to speak and talk with an audience, it's everything that I've ever wanted to do for the longest time. And I'm not just here to talk about that, but to talk to you about your dreams. And your dreams are the most important thing that you have in your life, because when you've got a dream, you've got hope. You've got so much hope when you've got that dream, and it's what really, it inspires you. It gives you energy, it gives your life passion and purpose. And what it does is, when you have that, you've got this possibility, this hope with you, and it creates a positive outlook. Positive outlook, positive attitude, and when you've got that, you've got so much, because a positive outlook on life, when you have that, you feel good. And when you feel good, you can't feel bad. You smile a lot more, you laugh a lot more. And when you're looking out at the world and you're filled with a positive attitude, life smiles back at you. That's exactly what it does. So I'm here to talk to you today, especially to this group. I wanted to speak to this group in particular because MS is one of those conditions that it can take away from your life little by little, to the point where you start to lose hope and you start to give up on the dreams that you probably had for your life. And the sad thing is that 81%, it's been said that 81% of the people in this world are not living their dream. I don't know about you, but to me, 81%, it's an astonishingly high number. To think that 81% of the people in this world get up every day and they're unhappy with what they're doing for a living. And they give up hope on their dreams and they never live. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about what I've come to know as kind of the 5 guiding principles to help you. If you have a dream inside of you, we've all had a dream ever since we were kids. You remember the things that you always thought, the person you were going to become when you grew up, the things you were going to do with your life. And I found 5 principles that will help you, guide you to that dream. It doesn't matter what your current circumstances are, your conditions, your adversities that you're going through, your dream's possible. It is possible. And so I remember, like, for me, and I don't know what it's like to live with MS. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I know what it's like to walk a day in your shoes, because I don't. But what I do know is what it's like to live your life when almost every single day feels like the biggest struggle. And you never know, because your life's so unpredictable from one day to the next. You never know what you're going to get on that next day or how you're going to deal with it. And I know what it's like to live with constant mental, emotional, and physical pain, to the point where as much as you wish and hope that it's going to get better somehow, that someday things are going to change, you want it so bad, but over a period of time it looks so bleak and dark that you just lose hope that it's ever really going to happen. I know what that feels like. And I know that because 7 years ago, that was every day of my life. That's how I lived. And I remember the day that it all just kind of blew up, because I was driving home on this. My routine was 2.5-hour commute home from work from San Jose to Tracy. And I was going through the back roads in Livermore, and I was stuck in this big patch of traffic. And it was this beautiful day out. I got out of work early. It was like 80 degrees outside, sun shining. But I'm sitting in my car, and I'm in the middle of this big depression. Because all I kept thinking about was, how did I get here in my life? At the time, I was in my mid-30s, and all I had to show for myself was being $55,000 in debt. I had invested 6 years of my life trying to build this career that I thought I was going to be happy with, and I was miserable, and my career was failing. I had health problems going on left and right. Some of them were getting really serious. In 2002, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I battled depression constantly. And my marriage was on the brink of divorce. I had nothing in my life going right, and I didn't know how to change it. As much as I wanted to, I just felt like I'd given up on my dreams and everything was hopeless. But then this question was coming into my head as I sat there. And the question was, is this all that life is about? I mean, is this it? This constant struggle. I mean, have you ever felt like you're going through life, and some of those days it just feels like you're battling this huge uphill, like upstream current, that as hard as you try, that you're looking around and you see other people and it seems like they're having so much of an easier time, and you just get to the point where you wonder, am I the only one going through this? You ever felt like that? I mean, that's what I felt like. And I remember just thinking, if this is all life is about, I couldn't imagine living the second half of my life the way I lived the first half. I just felt like something had to change, but I didn't know what to do. And I was determined to change it. And I went home that day, and I remember I went home, and when my wife came back from work, I sat her down and we had a long talk about all the struggles we were going through, all the problems we were having. And I told her, I said, honey, the way that we're living, it's unacceptable. So from here on out, I'm committed to making my dreams in life happen, or I'm going to die trying. And I meant those words. And it sounds extreme a little bit, but I didn't mean I was going to physically end my life. But it was a confirmation right there to her and to me that living the way we were living was unacceptable. I couldn't give up. And I had to live the rest of my life at least trying to do everything in my power I could to make my dreams happen. But I didn't know what to do, so I just started reading books. I read everything I could get my hands on. I started listening to audio programs all the time in my car. Drove my wife nuts because I never listened to radio. And I went to these seminars, and I just started applying concepts, things I was learning little by little. And I'd like to say that overnight it changed and I was this massive success, but it didn't happen like that. But little by little, things started changing. Just little by little changes were happening. And it was 5 years later, after that time, I just started looking back, and I realized I'd come to a completely different spot in my life. I mean, I was such a different person. All those problems I just told you about were gone. Everything. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I just knew that I was applying some things and they were working. And then of all the things, the people I was working with in my career that I told you about, I was involved in health and fitness as a personal trainer, and it ended up being for 13 years. Now the thing about that is that most of the clients I got, about 90% of the clients came to me not just to lose weight or just to get fit. Those were kind of parts of the goals, but the thing was that they suffered from these serious physical injuries. They were previously really active. They were hikers, bikers, runners, tennis players, golfers, and they couldn't do it anymore because they were injured. And doctors and physical therapists and chiropractors weren't having any success in treating them. So they would come to me not for anything other than just a last-ditch effort. But the problem was when you've been through all of the supposed solutions, you've tried it all and done it all, by the time they got to me, they didn't believe that anything positive was really going to happen. And I started to look at that, and I knew that I could physically work with them and help them, but the problems really weren't physical. Those weren't their biggest limitations. It was the mental obstacles they had. It was the lack of belief they had that anything would ever get better. So what I started to do is I started to take what I had learned and apply to my life, and I started using it in the sessions with my clients. And the crazy thing about it is things started to change with them. They started to get back the life that they once had that they thought they'd never have again. But not only that, they were performing in these sports and running and doing all these things that they couldn't do before the injury. And then of all the things, it started spilling over. It went beyond health and fitness. I mean, I had clients who were, all of a sudden, they were more productive and happy on the job. They were having better relationships with their spouses and family members and loved ones. And they were just more happy and more fulfilled. They were achieving and setting and achieving goals in life that they never thought they could do before. And it just came down to when I looked at it, I didn't identify it at first, and it just took a long time, but I started studying these things. What connected it all? What was responsible for it? And it came down to 5 guiding principles, the ones that I'm going to share with you today. And as I studied a lot of biographies of successful people, celebrities, movie stars, music stars, professional athletes, multimillionaires, people who achieved high levels of success. I studied it left and right because I wanted to find out what was it that changed for them. What was it that brought them to that level of success? It was these 5 principles. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. Because no matter where you are in life, no matter what your challenges and adversities are, if you have a dream, that's the one thing that I realize. As long as you have a dream, if you can dream it, then you can do it. So I'm going to share these 5 principles with you today. I call them the DREAM principles because each one of them, yeah, it's a cute little acronym, but each one of them starts with the letter of the word dream. So the first of the principles I'm going to start with is where it all begins.